In the heart of a lush village, in the northern part of Nigeria, there lived a girl named Binta. She was known for her beauty. Binta's allure was such that men, both single and married, could not resist her charm. She was known far and wide for her ethereal beauty and mysterious aura. However, Binta was not known just for her beauty alone, but for the unique and strange role she held in her village. Binta was the village grave digger, a task she performed with an uncanny expertise. Whenever a burial was needed, the villagers would call for Binta, for it was said that if anyone else dug a grave, they would not live to see the next day. Despite her beauty, Binta's life was shrouded in solitude. Men admired her from afar, but they were too fearful of the dark aura that surrounded her profession. Yet, men found excuses to visit her. The single men would court her openly, while the married men would sneak into her house under the cover of night, risking their marriages and reputations for just one night with her. Little did they know, Binta was no ordinary girl. Binta harbored a dark secret. She was cursed by an ancient spell, a punishment for a sin committed by her ancestors. The curse dictated that any man who lay with her would soon meet his end. This sinister fate was known only to Binta, who bore her burden with quiet resignation, knowing she could never truly love or be loved without bringing doom to those who fell for her. As time passed, the men who visited Binta began to meet untimely deaths. Illness, accidents, and mysterious disappearances plagued the village. Whispers of a curse began to spread, but no one dared to connect it to the beautiful Binta. Binta's eyes carried the weight of many souls. One fateful day, a respected villager named Bala passed away. Bala was one of the men who had slept with Binta. Bala's brother, Musa, consumed by grief and anger, believed that Binta was responsible for his brother's demise. Refusing to let her dig the grave, Musa called upon the village youths to help him dig the grave, fearful of the legend. No one dared to assist Musa. Despite their loyalty to him, the villagers were paralyzed by the fear of death. Undeterred, Musa took it upon himself to dig his brother's grave. As he shoveled the earth, his anger and determination blinded him to the danger he was inviting upon himself. The village watched in anxious silence, their hearts heavy with dread. As night fell, Musa completed the grave and the burial proceeded without incident. However, the next morning, a chilling realization gripped the village. Musa had not woken up. He had fallen victim to the curse, confirming their deepest fear. This tragic event cemented Binta's role in the village. No one dared challenge the strange rule that only she could dig graves. Her beauty became a bittersweet memory, overshadowed by the grim reality of her duty. The villagers treated her with a mix of respect and fear, knowing that her presence was both a blessing and a curse. Binta carried on her task with a heavy heart. Each grave she dug, a reminder of the lives touched by the curse she bore. She wished for nothing more than to break free from this cycle. Her nights were filled with restless dreams, and her days with the somber duty of laying the dead to rest. Years passed, and Binta's story became part of the village tradition. New generations grew up with the legend of the beautiful grave digger, whose touch could save or doom. Despite the passage of time, the fear remained, and no one dared to defy the supernatural forces that seemed to protect Binta's role. One day, a wandering healer named Adamu arrived in the village. Hearing Binta's story, he was determined to find a way to break the curse. With Binta's hesitant cooperation, Adamu delved into ancient rituals. They discovered that the curse was tied to an angry widow whose spirit sought vengeance for the atrocities committed by Binta's grandfather. Decades ago, Binta's grandfather, driven by greed, had ended the life of his elder brother to seize his numerous lands. He also ended the lives of his brother's 4 children, to eliminate any claims to the properties. The widow was heartbroken and she decided to end her own life by drinking poison, but before she did that, she uttered a curse on Binta's grandfather and his generations. "As you decided to end my family, I curse you and your generations. Untimely death shall be your portion and your generations. No good thing shall come out of your lineage. As you have used graves to decorate my compound, any of your generations that escape the untimely death shall be known as grave diggers and shall never be fruitful. Untimely death shall be the only thing they can offer to anyone who comes their way, and so shall it be. She went ahead and drank the substance. That was how she took her own life, and she was buried in the forest for taking her own life, and the curse dealt with Binta's family. No descendants survived the untimely death except Binta, who turned to a grave digger, and anyone who slept with her faced the wrath of the curse. Armed with this knowledge, Adamu devised a plan to break the curse. He and Binta sought out the widow's resting place, deep in the forest. There, they performed a series of intricate rituals, begging for forgiveness and peace. They offered sacrifices and spoke words of reconciliation, seeking to right the wrongs of the past. The spirits, appeased by their sincere efforts, lifted the curse. Binta was finally free from the burden she had carried for so long. The villagers, initially skeptical, soon realized the change. No longer bound by fear, they began to embrace new traditions. Binta, once the symbol of a dark curse, became a beacon of hope and redemption. The village healed, and Binta found her place within the community, not as a feared gravedigger, but as a respected and loved member. Her story, once a tale of sorrow, transformed into a legend of courage, resilience, and the power of atonement. The curse had been broken, and Binta's future was no longer bound by the sins of her ancestor.
Subscribe for more videos.